はじめまして、Riltia Senと申します。よろしく。So today I'm going to be talking about my experience in England. And yeah, so the flight from Incheon to Doha to Heathrow, all bad, all terrible, and was just the beginning of not a such great experience. So here's why it was bad. Qatar Airways, this is what I used, only allows you to do, what's the word? Only allows you 30 kilograms or 66 pounds of worth of stuff. Whereas most other airlines allow you up towards like about 100 if you have 2 carry-on bags coming from Asia or going to Asia and stuff like that. And I was very, very upset because I had to throw away almost more than half my stuff because of that rule. Because I was trying to check in the third bag, but it wasn't about, they said that it's not about how many bags you have, it's about how much stuff you have. So I was crying a lot. Also, the woman, none of the people who were there working for Qatar Airways really spoke good enough English. I don't know if they spoke Arabic, but they at least didn't speak good enough English. They were all Korean. So yeah, I mean, I was very frustrated. No one is explaining things to me. No one was making things clear. And I started crying many times thinking it's a mistake to leave Korea. I don't want to leave Korea. I was just hurt. I was thinking, no, I should just go home, turn around, go home, go back and be like, I'm not leaving Korea. I love Korea. I'm staying here. Everything is good. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't give up. I couldn't just be like, I should go back to the US instead. No. So I went. I got 3 seats to myself, at least when the flight hit. So that was good, even though I didn't have almost any toiletries left. And then when I got all the way to Doha, we had to go through security several times. There was the issue with one of my purses with the decal, apparently. They thought, I guess, came up on the scanner. I don't know why, but it took them forever to figure out that that's what it was. And then when going all the way to Heathrow, the plane had it kind of crashed a little bit, like very hard landing and caught on fire. So we were rushed off the plane. And yeah, I mean, we didn't see the fire, but the people, they just had us like, get off the plane now, go. So all of that was a mess, and it took a while to get our bags because of that. So I missed getting on the CIEE bus to the hostel, which was the Generator Hostel in London. And then I had to get myself there. It was raining. It was a mess. Now, for the most part, the weather in England was fine. I didn't mind the air. The air was fine. Also, but apparently they do suffer from pollution because someone told me that their mucus had turned black from pollution there, which is not good. But it was mostly sunshiny days. It was beautiful. It was nice weather. But I became homesick while I was there after a couple days because I was thinking, this looks just like the US, and it made me just want to go home instead of be there. And I have never felt homesick while I was in Japan or Korea. So that was already, and I was homesick after a couple days while I was in London. So, and it wasn't even me trying to be negative saying I don't like this, because most of the people we were just sitting around complaining about how we hate this, we don't want to be here, because we didn't. We wanted to be in Korea because, one, there are those of us who wanted the language barrier and wanted to practice Korean, me because my school doesn't offer Korean, and 2, just wanted to get out of our comfort zones. So it just felt to us like we were still stuck in the US for the most part, because while I was on the train, I was just thinking to myself, this looks just like the US, while I was riding the tube to where I needed to go to. So there was all of that, and not even I went to a language exchange the first, I think, Saturday I was there, and when I got on the tube, I just saw racism. I've never seen racism before in the US. I know it exists, but I've never personally seen it. It's out in the public and out in the open. I just saw these white Englanders, or Londoners rather, just saying, do you smell coronavirus? Because there were 3 Asian people on the train. It was very uncomfortable, and yeah. So I didn't really go out too much because COVID-19 was spreading, among other things, and people were congregating a lot. After what do you call it? the orientation, we went to the British Museum, and a lot of people were saying about how most of the stuff in the British Museum was all just stolen stuff, which technically it was just stolen stuff because countries have asked for their stuff back that was in that museum. But, you know, all of that. It's very expensive there, so, and we had to just keep eating out because we weren't in our flats yet. We stayed in the hostel for 2 weeks. I only got to stay in the flat for 1 day because when we moved, I was leaving England the next day. So there was that. Now, when I was trying to, yeah, pretty much that's it. Like, I didn't do anything. I mean, I stayed in, I watched anime. I didn't want to spend too much money. I already felt like I wasted a bunch of money just existing there. So, yeah. And leaving England was also a nightmare. I mean, I got an Uber there, which was comfortable, but I didn't understand how the terminals worked. The map was very confusing because I went to the wrong American Airlines place, and then American Airlines messed up my ticket. So when I get to the ticket counter, and then they were trying to figure out everything, and the woman who was helping me, she was from the US, who was working at the ticket counter, and she felt pity on me, so she got me to another location 10 minutes before the gate would have closed for the flight, for the baggage area. I had to buy a new ticket. I was already there about 3 hours prior, just standing around waiting for all of this, going through a horrifying nightmare. So yeah, it was a mess, and I cried so many times. And this time I said I cried because I wanted to go home. I just wanted to go back to the US, and I was just really upset. I was thinking this was the worst experience of my life. I don't want to ever come back to England. And yeah, now I do want to go back to England for a better experience and to enjoy things. But I, first of all, didn't want to go study abroad in England. Well, of course, I was in Korea. But I either told my school, I either want to go to Ireland or Scotland, because those are my other choices if I had to go to Europe. But, you know, it didn't work out that way. So things happened the way they happened. And yeah, I might post my footage I have of England, but it was just of the last day, which on the last full day, my Korean leader who came from Seoul to come assist us, he was spit on by people. We watched it all of us watched it happen. So yeah, it was messy. 失礼します, critics.